Yes, CAT 2022 is just round the corner. Keeping this in mind, we know each and every one of you is really excited, but is also looking for the last final push and the fillip that is going to add those extra 5, 10, 15 percentile to your final CAT score. Well, because of this, BYJU'S exam prep brings to you the last lap to CAT 2022, starting on the 17th of October all the way till the 20th of November. Yes, 4.5 intensive, in fact almost 5 intensive weeks of preparation. What more, the focus is predominantly going to be CAT, which means, as we know, time, speed, distance and time and work in totality have almost equal weightage or sometimes even more weightage than geometry. So can we go ahead and leave geometry and just focus on these two? Can we go ahead and leave entire theta para jumbles and still score a 99.99 percentile in verbal? Yes, we can. This and much more in terms of preparation, in terms of intensive questions that we're going to look at and the smartest way of going ahead and solving that. So catch us on the BYJU'S exam prep app, and in case you missed that, on YouTube. But go ahead, download the BYJU'S exam prep app and also get a 99 percentilers kit which is going to help you ace CAT 2022. See you soon.
Good afternoon everyone and welcome to BYJU'S YouTube channel dedicated exclusively to helping you, the MBA aspirant. So today we have picked up another question that a lot of people ask us once the CAT exam is done, and that is, they often bring in some colleges. Okay sir, what about this college and as compared to that college? And oftentimes the confusion exists because the colleges that we talk about are pretty close to each other in terms of their overall performance. So this session focuses on helping you decide among NMIMS, IIFT and SIBM. So these are the three colleges that we plan to look at. And see, all of these sessions are created on the basis of the questions that you ask, right? So if you have any question, please do not hesitate in sharing it with us in the comment box, or better still, you can drop it in our Telegram channel, and I assure you that we are going to create sessions or answers that will help you with your specific queries. I am Vikrant, and today we plan to look at a comparison between these three colleges. So before I actually go ahead and talk about this comparison, tell me something. What matters to you when you look at a particular B school? On what basis, on what parameters are you going to decide on joining a particular college? So what do you think? What matters to you? So typically, one of the things that I think most of us look at is, sir, paisa kitna milega? Nothing else matters to most of the janta around. What they primarily want is placements. So at the end of my course, how much money am I going to earn? And at times we are willing to ignore everything else for that. In fact, I remember this one particular year when a student came to me and said, sir, forget about infrastructure, library, all that, sir, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, मेरे को 2 साल पीपल के पेड़ के नीचे बिठा के पढ़ा लो, लेकिन प्लेसमेंट अच्छी दे दोगे तो मैं चला जाऊंगा. So we at times give that kind of disproportionate weightage to the placement. So that's definitely a very important factor. And Karthikeya, you're absolutely right. Yes, placements, yes, but then the fees that you pay to get that placement, that matters, right? Then the location at which a college is at, so that's another factor. Then the number of seats that the college has is yet another factor. Then the kind of infrastructure that it has and the kind of faculty members that it has, and the quality of the peers, the people that you'd be studying with around you, and then of course the alumni network. So if it's an old college and there are a lot of people who are a pass out of this college, chances are that it will be easier for you to tap into the industry colleges, industry network, thanks to the alumni network that the college has managed to build over the years. But I think I'm primarily going to focus on the first 4 factors. I will also talk about infrastructure and then I'll give you an overview. When it comes to faculty members, quality of peer group, alumni network, I'd say faculty members are almost equal at all of these places. So is the quality of the peer group, because people are getting shortlisted, are getting selected on the basis of these national entrance exams. Yes, when it comes to alumni network, the older colleges would typically have some advantages, but that's all right. So let us start off with the placements. So here is the data that I think matters the most to you. So at NMIMS, and when I say NMIMS, I am basically talking about the Mumbai campus and the flagship program, which is MBA core. I'm not talking about the other campuses or the other courses. Similarly, when I talk about SIBM, I am talking about SIBM Pune for the MBA that it offers. And similarly in IIFT, I am going to talk about IIFT Delhi, but the data of average placements is difficult to come by for IIFT because they go in for a combined placement. And once again, this is for their MBA in International Business program. So in each one of these three colleges, you'd see that the average placement that you get is very, very respectable. In fact, it is going to be better than some of those, even the newer IIMs, and purely by this you can definitely consider it. You can definitely look at each one of these three colleges, but as you can see, IIFT does hold a slight edge, but that's not the entire story. If you look at the comment given to us by Karthikeya, he has added a really important factor, and that is job profiles. So, I have over the years, I've been teaching for 21 years now, I have seen a company that goes to multiple colleges. Some of those colleges are higher up in the rankings, some of them are not that high up in the ranking, but they go to both the colleges. They hire people from both the places, but the difference is the difference exists in terms of the money that they offer and the profiles that they offer. So from a premier college, when they hire somebody, they may put him into the marketing of one of their premier brands. Whereas from one of those lesser known colleges, if they hire somebody, they may put him in the logistics of a lesser known brand. So that can have an impact on the kind of growth curve that you have. Moreover, quite a few of us will typically have a certain specialization in mind or a certain industry in mind, and that will also have a bearing. Karthikeya says, what is the actual average package for NM? I've heard that stats on their website are inflated. Karthikeya, it's very difficult to independently verify those, but we have students at most of these colleges, and I think we can go by the data that they have given. It is another story that most of these figures are CTC figures, cost to company figures, and depending upon company to company, your take home may vary though. But let us go ahead and talk about another factor very closely involved with placements. So a majority of the people, when they go in for placements, they want to know, sir, is this college good for finance? Is it good for marketing? Will I be able to get these consulting roles from this particular college? So I thought that we go ahead and talk about that as well. So when it comes to Narsi Monji, if I look at the previous year's overall placements, you'd notice that 27% of the jobs that were offered at NM were from consulting, another 36 from finance, and around 11% of the jobs were from marketing. The rest of them came from the auto sector, the manufacturing sector, the e-commerce platforms, startups, etc. Okay, but these three, considering that these three are the ones that people mostly talk about in these three colleges, I am confining myself to these three. So as you can see, it's a really good option for somebody who wants to eventually get into banking and financial services, insurance, etc. Then when it comes to SIBM, you'd still have a fairly high number of consulting profiles, but then you don't get that many core finance jobs, and then around 16% of the jobs go to marketing. And when it comes to IIFT, the distribution is fairly even. So consulting is around 24-25%, finance at around 23%, and marketing is at around 21%. So those of you who are keen on consulting, I think all the three colleges are going to be a fairly decent bet, but there is a very clear distinction when it comes to finance, where NMIMS holds an edge, and then comes IIFT. On the other hand, if you're targeting sales and marketing jobs, then I reckon that IIFT and SIBM Pune can actually be better options for you. Then the fees. So you do get certain money, you do end up earning something, but then you also have to pay for that. So here is the comparison of the fees for these three courses. So NMIMS 24 lakhs, SIBM and IIFT around 23 and 22 lakhs. So when it comes to fees, they are more or less equal, but you notice this asterisk. When it comes to SIBM and IIFT, the fee that you pay includes the charges for the hostel, whereas when it comes to NMIMS, this fees does not include your hostel, and therefore the fees charged by NMIMS is going to be relatively on the higher side. There'll be a significant difference as compared to the other two colleges. Kaushal has a question. Sir, is KJ Somaya worth after NMAT? Kaushal, all the B schools are good. The only difference is, what is it that you want from your B school? So you have certain things in mind, right? That I want to get a certain type of job in a certain type of industry at a certain package. So if a college satisfies that, it is a good college for you. If a college does not satisfy that, it is not a good college for you. So it's highly subjective, and it would also depend partly on your profile, etc. So we can talk about these things later, right? Kaushal, when you talk about ROI, let's just look at it first. So first up, when I look at the fees charged by the colleges, I think of this fees as investment and not expenditure, right? Now, when you look at the return on investment in a classical sense, then any business which is not capital intensive, if you end up getting all the money spent, if you reach your break-even point in around 3 years, we consider it a good business. So if I look at your MBA from that perspective, then I think when it comes to KJ Somaya, if you look at the 3-year horizon, the ROI would generally be decent. Yeah? It's not bad. But as I said, it's at the end of the day subjective. There are colleges with better ROI in that sense. I mean, who can beat Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi University, FMS? The fees is around 1,10,000 rupees and the placements, oof, right? So you need to, of course, look at all of those things too. So that's about the fees. And then let us look at the location. Now, why am I talking about the location? See, location helps you in a lot of different ways. For example, if you're located at a place where you have a lot of industries and businesses around, it is easier for you to approach them, to reach them, and it is also easier for them to come to your college. And as a result, your industry exposure, your chances of working on live industry project, your probability of learning from the industry experts who visit as guest lecturers, all of those things actually become better. Not only that, even the staff, the faculty members, the admin team, all of those, at the end of the day, they are also individuals with their own goals, dreams and aspirations. Most of them will have families. So they would prefer a place which provides great opportunities for their family too. For example, I live in Delhi, and there are times when I go to my hometown and I pass by this village where we have one of these new AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Now I pass by that, but then I wonder which doctor would like to relocate to that remote location. So it's good to have an AIMS there, but the college will actually struggle with getting those placements. Will struggle with attracting that kind of talent. So when it comes to location, I think Mumbai and Delhi are almost at par. Mumbai does have some advantage when it comes to finance companies. After all, it is the financial capital of India. Pune also does not lag very far behind. So they're almost at par. where NMIMS and IIFT have a slight edge over SIBM, and NMIMS will have a slight edge over IIFT if you are targeting finance. Then another very crucial factor is number of seats. So you notice NMIMS has 600 seats. So they need to place 600 people. But then remember that despite that, they managed to give you 23.07 lakhs per annum as your average placement. So imagine if you are in the top 30%, 20%, 10% of the batch, what kind of potential that you have. And just to allay your concerns, although 600 is a fairly sizable number, and that means that the placement committee is under strain. But then if I look at last year, there were almost 130 companies that visited the campus. 64 of these happened to be Fortune 500 companies. And within last year, they managed to attract 38 new companies as well. So the placement committee and the college overall is doing a good job. And then there is this other side as well. So on one hand, we know 600 students are a bit too much to place. The other side is that it also increases the alumni network. So there are going to be 599 other people with whom you are likely to be, or you can be, on first name basis. And that can matter in 10-20 years. If I compare this with SIBM, we had around 84 companies that visited the campus, and at IIFT the number was around 107. But if I look at the number of companies that turn up there and the number of seats that they have, and I look at the average placements, then IIFT emerges a little ahead of the other two colleges. Right? Okay, Ritik Samant is asking about the MBA Business Analytics course in NMIMS. Ritik, it is not the flagship course offered by NMIMS. So if you compare the placements and the ROI, etc., you'd still be better off joining the MBA core. Right? Aditya, not really. Not really. Okay, and then let us talk about infrastructure. So at the end of the day, you are going to spend 2 years at that particular college. So if the infrastructure is better, it can enhance your overall experience. So I remember one of these girls who went to one of those newer IIMs a few years ago. I won't name the college though, where the campus was on the outskirts. It was pretty small, and they were in the process of moving to a newer campus. It was a fairly small building. The hostels were there, but then they were on the first floor of the college. So you take the stairs, come down, and you're inside the college. So it was not as fun as it would otherwise have been. So here, have a look at the SIBM. They have this huge campus at the outskirts of Pune, where you have fabulous infrastructure facilities, amazing sports facilities, all of those. And then the next best campus is going to be IIFT in Delhi. Fairly sizable campus, and IIFT is actually, they started building a new campus in 2019. And eventually they should shift to that new campus in Maidangadi a few years from now, but then I don't think that will matter much to you today. And then lastly, we have NMIMS. So smallish space, and you notice the other two are completely residential courses where the hostels are within the campus. Narsi Monji, in fact, somebody was also asking about the hostels. Who was it? Kaushal. Kaushal, I'd have to check about Navi Mumbai. But Narsi Monji does have 2 hostels nearby, and they also happen to have 4 rented residential buildings nearby. So it's not that all the people of the batch are staying together within one hostel, which has its own vibe. Okay, so in that sense, when I talk about infrastructure, yes, SIBM definitely has a distinct advantage over the other two. Kaushal, do they NMS Navi Mumbai, do they offer campus? I'm assuming campus placement. Yes, they do. So if the question is which one of the 3 to join, if I look at all of these things combined, the number of seats, the placements, the kind of placements, and the fees, etc., I think IIFT edges ahead, and NMIMS and SIBM are more or less equal, where if you're targeting finance jobs, you should prefer NMIMS for sure. On the other hand, if you fancy a better campus, although I don't think that's really a very relevant criterion for a lot of us, but if you fancy that, then maybe SIBM. But then if you are looking at the campus, why not GIM, Goa Institute of Management? Why not then go to the party capital? But then, as I said, it is not entirely relevant. So here are some more questions are trickling in. Sarvesh says it is too expensive, does not have a campus, accommodation. Yes, Sarvesh, yes, it is going to be expensive as compared to the other two. No doubt about that. But for people who are keen on getting into finance and consulting, it can be a really good choice. And eventually, we just need to look at it as investment, right? Given a choice, yes, we would like to get into a college with significantly lesser fees. Siddharth is asking about healthcare management. Okay, so first up, a lot of colleges have come up with a lot of sector specific or industry specific courses, right? So if you talk about, let us say, healthcare management, so let's talk about Apollo Group. If they need to hire somebody for their hospitals, even they will prefer the regular MBAs of the premier colleges, right? It's only when you go down the rating list that sector specific colleges can help you in gaining entry into certain special courses. So these are good courses, but they should not be something that we prioritize. Okay, so that's what we really need to look at. Karthik is talking about respective cutoffs. Okay, so the issue is that you happen to have different selection processes. So if you want to get into NMIMS, you sit for this exam called NMAT, where the cutoff usually hovers around 215. Okay, give or take 10 marks here and there, right? Then when it comes to NMIMS, when it comes to SIBM, you apply to it through this exam called the SNAP, and IIFT goes ahead and conducts its own entrance exam. So you can visit the BYJU'S website and you'd find the exact details of the cutoffs, etc. there. I've talked about the colleges so that you know which exams to. So I've talked about these exams so that you know which all exams to apply to. And in case you are really serious about writing these exams, we have a package where we offer offer 50 entrance exams that target exams other than the CAT. So these are various mock tests that will help you prepare really well. Additionally, we also have this series going on. It's called Last Lap to CAT. Every day at 7, we teach you some areas. Considering that the syllabus in most of these exams is similar, you would benefit from this. And once the CAT is over, we will have special series targeting these other exams as well. So make sure that you do attend those as well. And the best way to figure out when these sessions are taking place is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See, if you don't subscribe, you and I will meet only in passing, right? So it'll be an accident that you encounter this video. On the other hand, if you do subscribe, you do get to know about all the sessions that we post. Additionally, we do update a Telegram channel about every session that we are organizing every day. So do think of being a part of that channel as well. It's a two-way communication channel. You can also ask your doubts and specific questions there. And in case you know somebody who is thinking of preparing for CAT 23, it'll be a huge help if you do recommend them to us. So do suggest BYJU'S. And before I sign out, here's a thought that I want to leave you with. Karthike, do we offer GDPI prep? Absolutely, yes, yeah, we do offer GDPI prep course. We are an online organization, so we do give you a lot of sessions, but they're primarily online. So yes, we do have a course. Kaushal asks, Symbiosis also has SCM HRD. Yes, Kaushal, Symbiosis actually happens to have 8 colleges. SIBM usually is considered the numero uno, followed by SCM HRD, and then you have SIIB, and then you have SIDTM, then SIMS, so SIOM, all of those. So here is a thought that I want to leave you with. So what comes easy will not always last. What will last will not always come easy. So make sure that you keep on putting in the effort, and eventually when the results come out, when you move on, you'd realize that that effort made a significant difference to you and your life, right? So that's it from me today. I hope you liked this session. In that case, do press the like button and show some love. And I look forward to meeting you once again in our next session pretty soon. Until then, stay safe, stay focused, and more importantly, stay in touch. Take care.